territories and zones. Thousands of books and articles have been written about how birds, fish, lower mammals and primates, but only in recent years has it been learned that humans also own and protect their territories. Understanding this phenomenon and what the phenomenon behind it, one can not only open up enormous additional possibilities for interpreting one's own and other people's behavior, but also to predict more accurately the potential reaction of an interlocutor in a face-to-face interaction. One of the pioneers in the study of people's personal space needs was the American anthropologist Edward T. Hall. In the early 1960s, he coined the term proxemics, the science of proximity. His research essentially changed the understanding of the foundations of human relationships. Each country is a territory with clear boundaries that often protected by armed border guards. The territory of each country is usually divided into smaller regions, such as states, municipalities, and so on. These territories are in turn divided into cities, districts, and streets. Each street is a kind of separate republic, which is emotionally implied by the people who live there. Each person feels a subconscious attachment and loyalty to his territory, and in defense of it he is often prepared to resort to barbaric acts, violence, and even murder. A person's personal territory is the part of an area or space which a person considers to be his or her own property, as if it were a kind of body continuation. Each person has several different belongings, degrees of dependence on their personal territories, usually related to their personal property, such as their home and the yard enclosed by a fence, the inside of their car, their bedroom, their personal chair, and also, as Dr. Hall found, and some of the airspace surrounding his body. Don't forget to click the subscribe button to help my channel grow, giving me the motivation to keep creating content. Personal space. Most animals keep a certain area around their personal space. The size of this space is largely determined by how much space the animal had growing up. A lion raised in a remote part of Africa's savannas may consider an area of 50 kilometers or more as his personal space, depending on the lion's population in that area. It defines the boundaries of its territory as marked by urine and feces. In contrast, a lion that has been raised in a cage with other lions is likely to consider its personal space to be just a couple of meters around itself, a direct result of the cramped living conditions. Like other animals, humans also have their own personal air bubble, which he carries with him everywhere. Its size depends on the population density of the place where the person grew up. So a person's personal space is culturally determined. When some peoples, like the Japanese, for example, are used to cramped living conditions, so the Japanese have a small personal space, whereas other cultures like to have more space around them and tend to keep a greater distance from the people around them. Be that as it may, we are primarily concerned with the patterns of territorial behavior of people who have grown up in Western cultures. The distance a person tries to keep in relation to others must status. Zone size. For every middle-class white person living in a town in North America, England or Australia, the bubble is roughly the same size. 1. Intimate zone, 15 to 46 centimeters from the body. Of all the zones of personal space, this is undoubtedly the most important, as it is this zone that a person protects and defends as their own personal property. Only people who are emotionally close to you are allowed in this zone. This includes loved ones, parents, spouses, children, close friends and relatives. This zone also has its own subzone which surrounds the body within a radius of 15 centimeters and whose violation is only tolerated during physical contact. This is the zone of closest intimacy. 2. Personal zone, 46 to 120 centimeters from the body. This is the distance we keep from each other when interacting at parties, public ceremonies and during social gatherings. 3. Friendly zone, 1.2 to 3.6 meters from the body. This is the distance we try to keep when we are talking to strangers or people we don't know very well, a plumber or painter who is repairing our house, the postman, a new colleague who has just started work. 4. Public area, over 3.6 meters. When communicating with a large group of people, we usually choose a distance of more than 3.6 meters. If you like my content, click the subscribe and like buttons. See you later.